Announcements. Non-papers. Papers have been laid. Question.
Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've given notice of the following private notice question addressed to the Honourable Minister of Labour and Industrial Relations. Whether in regard to foreign labour, he will A. State whether prior to the implementation of the fast-tracked and simplified rules-based work permit system, therefore, as announced in the 2025-2026 budget speech, his ministry conducted an impact assessment on the scarcity of workers in various sectors of the economy. B. State the total number of foreign workers currently employed in Mauritius sector-wise, including construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and hospitality, and by nationality. C. State the number of foreign workers who were working illegally and had to be deported since January 2026 to date, indicating the actions, if any, taken against the employers thereof. And D. Table the list of agencies issued with recruitment licenses since January 2025 to date. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister of Labour.
Madam Speaker, the consequence of an aging population is not just on pension and on public finance, but also on the workforce. We have less and less motion joining the workforce. One of the measures announced in last year's budget for financial year 2025-2026 to address the acute shortage of labor and skills, which severely impinges on investment and therefore on economic growth, is to expedite the recruitment of foreign workers through a fast-track and simplified rules-based work permit system to be managed by the Economic Development Board. Thereafter, on the 8th of August 2025, government agreed to the implementation of the rules-based work permit system, which will be a new revamped system for the issue of work permits. The system will be founded on the following three prerequisites. First, a standardized job classification and codification through the establishment of a system to record job grades and all relevant details as outlined in various remuneration orders. The system will also generate a template contract, preventing employers from modifying job requirements or conditions of employment with a view to ensuring equity and discouraging exploitation. B, an accredited employer framework for the accreditation of employers to ensure mandatory compliance with relevant legislation. And C, a labor market information system, which will be a single employment portal with advanced AI features to assist employers and job seekers. This will provide employers with a transparent mode of advertisement whereby job seekers will be notified of job openings. It was also agreed that a steering committee chaired by the Prime Minister's office and comprising representatives from my ministry, the Passport and Immigration Office, and the Economic Development Board will be set up to coordinate the active involvement of various stakeholders and ensure implementation of the system. However, Madam Speaker, I am informed by the Economic Development Board that the fast-track and simplified rules-based work permit system has not yet been implemented. I'm informed that the first tender exercise for the system launched by the EDB was not successful. Fresh procurement procedures have been initiated and the bids were relaunched by the EDB on the 12th of June 2026. Madam Speaker, as regards part A of the question, my ministry has not yet undertaken an impact assessment on the scarcity of various sectors of the economy. However, in January 2025, an interministerial committee was set up by the government on work permit issues chaired by myself. The committee met various stakeholders and took stock of the scarcity of labor and skill across all sectors of the economy. The committee also heard representation, especially from trade unions and NGOs, on the impact which recruitment of foreign workers may have on the recruitment of Mauritian workers. We also heard concern raised about dormitories for foreign workers in highly residential areas. And all those concerns, Madam Speaker, were taken on board in the report of the Interministerial Committee. One of the main recommendations of the Interministerial Committee is that before an employer is allowed to recruit a foreign worker, he needs to demonstrate his inability to recruit locally. In particular, the employer must have advertised the post and gone through the database of job seekers, as well as the Mauritius job platform, to try to recruit locally. To avoid abuse, it is the Employment Information Center of my ministry that issues a certificate attesting that the applicant has been unable to recruit locally. It's only upon presentation of that certificate that consideration is given for an application for an employer to be able to recruit foreign workers. And when determining the scarcity areas in which a foreign worker can be recruited, my ministry stands guided by the detailed list of occupation in persistent demand in Mauritius published by the Human Resource Development Council, which falls under the aegis of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource. Madam Speaker, during my meeting with the Director General of the International Labour Organization earlier this month, I asked for the technical support of ILO precisely to prepare a study on the socio-economic impact of foreign workers in Mauritius. To address the concern raised by many people, especially neighbors, relating to the mushrooming of residential houses used as lodging accommodation for foreign workers in densely populated areas, government has recently approved the Occupation Safety and Health Centralized Lodging Accommodation Regulation 2026. My ministry will now license building premises which meet international standards to accommodate hundreds of foreign workers. An employer will no longer need to convert a resident house into a dormitory. It will now be able simply to rent one or more rooms in one of those centralized accommodation, duly licensed to accommodate foreign workers. Madam Speaker, with regard to part B of the question, as at 31st of May 2026, the two main employing sectors employing foreign workers were the manufacturing sector, employing 22,949 foreign workers, and the construction sector, employing 15,272. So that's around 80% of the foreign workers. As regards the agricultural, hunting, and forestry sector, the number of foreign workers was 2,618, and for accommodation and food services activities, that is the hospitality sector, the number of foreign workers was 1,941. As far as nationality is concerned, there are currently 15,840 foreign workers from India, 14,821 workers from Nepal, 9,995 from Madagascar, and 8,975 workers from Bangladesh, among others. Those four countries account for over 98% of the total number of foreign workers in Mauritius. I am tabling the requested information sector-wise, country-wise, and sector-wise. I need to point out, Madam Speaker, that those figures do not include foreign workers holding occupation permits, which are delivered by the Economic Development Board. They relate to only permits issued by my ministry. Madam Speaker, as regard part C of the question, I'm informed by the Passport and Immigration Office that as at the 15th of June 2026, there were 6,921 irregular migrant workers in Mauritius, out of which 2,886 were reported missing and 4,035 were required to leave as their work permit and residence permit had expired. I am further informed that since January 2026 to date, there has been no deportation under the Deportation Act. Since January 2026, the police department has intensified crackdown operation across the island targeting irregular migrants. During that period, 1st January 2026 to date, the police department, I'm informed, has conducted 49 operations resulting in the arrest of 428 illegal foreigners. Out of these, 400 migrants have already been repatriated. Madam Speaker, I'm further informed that the police has already initiated immediate action to crack down illegal expatriation in the country, and a hotline has been established at the police headquarters to report the presence of illegal expatriates. Madam Speaker, it is a fact that an employer who employs a worker without a valid work permit commits an offense, a serious offense. And unfortunately, I'm informed by the police, by the Passport and Immigration Office, that since January 26, 2026, till date, no employer has been prosecuted, let alone convicted, for having illegally recruited a foreign worker. And unless and until sanctions are taken against the employer, criminal sanctions are taken against employer who illegally employs foreign workers without a permit, there will continue to be an incentive for foreign workers to run away and work in the black economy without any protection for employers. At the level of my ministry, we have sought legal advice from the State Law Office as to the sanction that our ministry administratively can take against an employer who employed foreign workers without a valid work permit. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, the advice that we have obtained from the SLO the Attorney General's Office, was to the effect that we could not impose any penalty or other sanction on the employer who is failing to renew its work permit, because the law does not give us the power today administratively to do so, and we'll have to amend the law to give the ministry the power to sanction those illegal employers. Nonetheless, to curb the practice tolerated, listen to this, Honorable Leader of Opposition, the practice tolerated and encouraged under the previous regime of allowing employers to continue employing foreign workers after the expiration of their work permit. My ministry has taken a policy decision that we will not entertain any application for work permit or renewal of work permit unless the employer have regularized at least 90% of the workers who is under his employment and whose work permit has been expired. And this has given the necessary expected result. Today, a lot of these employers who kept employing workers, especially in the textile and construction sector, after expiration of their work permit, are now having to either renew the permit, pay the permit fees, or repatriate the workers before being allowed to recruit additional workers. Madam Speaker, as regards part D of the question, I wish to inform the House that the operation of private recruitment agencies are governed by the Private Recruitment Agency Act of 2023 and the Private Recruitment Agency Regulation of 2025. The legislation makes provision for 3 types of licenses, namely for the recruitment of A, citizen of Mauritius for employment in Mauritius, B, citizen of Mauritius for employment abroad, and C, recruitment of non-citizen for employment in Mauritius. The Private Recruitment Agency Regulation only came into operation in October 2025. Therefore, as from January 2025 to October 2025, no agency were issued with any recruitment license by my ministry. All licenses issued under the previous regulation by the previous regime had lapsed and were not renewed as we were in the process of reviewing the legal framework to ensure ethical recruitment of foreign workers. Now, following the promulgation of the Private Recruitment Agencies Regulation back in October 2025, my ministry has to date issued 20 licenses for the 3 categories. And I am tabling the list of private recruitment agencies for each category has been posted on the website of the ministry and is updated as soon as new licenses are issued. I'm tabling a list of the list of, okay, this is the updated list. The updated list of the applicants who have been issued private recruitment licenses broken down in the 3 categories of licenses. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Leader of the Opposition.
Yes.
Your first supplementary.
Yes, Madam Speaker, but I draw your attention to the fact that the Minister has taken more than 20 minutes to reply. I have a series of questions. I hope you'll give me enough time to put my questions. Madam Speaker, the House will note that with regard to the reply of the Honourable Minister, the simplified rule-based work permit system is not operational, and also no study has been carried out. Madam Speaker, can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether government has a long-term strategic plan to address the structural mismatch in the local workforce, or is this fast-track system merely a pro-capital reflex to safeguard the profits of employers at the expense of Mauritian citizens' employment opportunities when it will be put into operation?
Madam Speaker, I don't understand the Honourable Opposition. He comes and tells us during the budget speech that we don't have sufficient growth. The private sector tells us, give us more workers. We can't operate without the workers. In all sections, whether it is construction, textile, hospitality, restaurant, hotels, they're telling us we need foreign workers because, unfortunately, a lot of Mauritian workers do not want to work at night. They don't want to work during the weekend. And now that we are facilitating the recruitment of foreign workers by eliminating the most controversial part of the regime, which was to give the discretion to the minister to decide who he will give the permit and who he will the permit. This was the main problem. The minister was deciding. Now it is, clear rules. You show us that you're unable to recruit locally. We give you the permission to import. No discretion by the minister. And that criteria, inability to recruit locally, it is there precisely to protect local employment of Mauritians. Because you have to convince, not me, the employment information centers across the island that you've tried. And I'll get further. The employment information center of my They go to the pain of calling the people whose name appear on the list of apparent people who have been interviewed to verify the information, whether you had been interviewed by the person. Is it true that you declined to be recruited? Only then that we allow the recruitment of foreign workers. So we're taking all the necessary steps. As far as long-term measures, again, if the Honourable Leader of Opposition had taken care to listen carefully and read carefully the budget speech of the Honourable Prime Minister last week, he would have seen that there is a series of measures that has been identified which will take effect to meet that skills mismatch, including heavily investing in training through the HRDC and developing new software to identify skills mismatch and training people. So if I listen carefully, you would have seen that obviously the strategy of the government is to do this mismatch in the long term.
Yes, second question.
Yes, Madam Speaker, it is for this reason that I put the question with regard to the study. Now, may I ask the Honourable Minister whether he has been apprised of the strong representations from trade unions of this country, warning of the severe dangers of indiscriminately opening our borders to more foreign labor, and may we be informed why he is ignoring such a warning?
Let the Minister reply.
Madam Speaker, in my answer as stated, the Inter-Ministerial Committee received representation from trade union. We have listened to them. And their concern was precisely what the Honourable Leader of Opposition mentioned. They don't want foreign workers to be employed at the expense of Mauritian workers. This is why now any applicant must convince us, must prove that they have not been able to recruit locally. And I will invite those trade unions who are concerned about foreign workers coming ahead to give us name, because the advertisement are publicized. It is on the job, my Mauritius job, it is on the NBC, it is on the website, and in fact we are improving the system through the help of India, which is going to rebuild our system for automatic matching of job seekers and job vacancies. So that will also simplify the system. But let me reassure the trade unions and the Leader of the Opposition that the policy of this government is why we encourage and simplify and facilitate recruitment of foreign workers. It will never, I repeat, never be at the expense of Mauritian workers.
Third question.
Yes, the system is not being improved, Madam Speaker. Can the Honourable Minister confirm to the House whether a company by the name of MSK Global Services Company Limited, incorporated and registered on the 22nd of October 2025 is the holder of a recruitment license from his ministry?
Unfortunately, I've just given the list to, I'll just table the list so I can be given the copy of the list. Let me go through. Yes, I'm informed that MSK Global Services have a recruitment license to recruit citizens of Mauritius for employment in Mauritius. That was issued on the 11th of May, 2029.
This year?
Can the Honourable Minister...
Sorry, Honourable Opposition. That was issued on the 12th of May, 2026, and is valid for 3 years till 11th of May, 2029.
Good.
Yes.
Fourth question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Then, can the Honourable Minister therefore explain to the House how this company, which has been incorporated on the 22nd October 2025, has been able to submit financial statements for the last 3 years as required in the application form to be able to obtain a recruitment license for foreign labor. And I'm tabling, Madam Speaker.
No. Go ahead.
Carry on with your question.
I'm just tabling a form
You
from
just
his
want to
ministry.
table?
Yeah, where it is stated that you document to be submitted with the application. Number 7, financial statement for the last 3 years.
What is the document, please?
It is the document Part 3 application for license renewal or of license for recruitment for non-citizens for employment in Mauritius.
Madam Speaker, let me apologize. I mentioned that MSK only had a license to recruit Mauritians to work in Mauritius. I'm informed that, going through the list, they also have a license to recruit non-citizens for employment in Mauritius. Madam Speaker, one of the things that we did when we enacted the new regulations for issuing of recruitment license, work together with the United Nations, the International Office of Migration, is to review the criteria. Because under the other former regime, we couldn't understand how people were getting licenses, has absolutely no, let me finish. I will explain. Had absolutely no experience in recruitment, had no financial resources, had no certificate of morality, had no experience, no knowledge of the law, and they were getting recruitment license. There were 54 recruitment licenses. So we came and we put an order. And in my ministry, there is a department, independent of the minister, who consider recruitment licenses. And we go by the criteria. The 4 criteria. First, you have to demonstrate experience in recruitment.
These are what was in that document?
The document is the 3rd criteria. I'm just telling you the 4 criteria. First is, how do you demonstrate it? Either you already had a recruitment license in the past, or you're related to a company who had a recruitment license, or you were an employee of one of the recruitment license. You show that you have the experience, or you have a contract with a foreign recruitment agencies which has the experience of recruiting. So that's the first criteria. And that is the toughest criteria to meet. The second criteria is knowledge of the law. You meet that criteria most easily by having a letter from a legal advisor telling you that he's going to vet all the contract and going to ensure that the workers know their rights when they come to Mauritius. Then the third criteria is the criteria mentioned by the honorable leader of the position, your financial resources. Now, how we determine the financial resources of a company who has just been set up? And how can we not discriminate against a company that has just been set up and favored those companies which had recruitment license? I am, listen to me, I'm asking you, how do you ensure?
Don't speak from a
I am coming to that. The point is, how do we ensure that it is not the same criteria that we are using arbitrarily as was used under their regime? So we ask for financial proof of finance. And then the fourth criteria, I'll come back on the proof of finance. Fourth criteria is that you have to be a fit and proper person and have not been convicted of any offenses involving dishonesty.
We've come to the particular.
Now we go to how do you assess the financial situation of a new applicant? The answer is that you provide us with a business plan. In your business plan, you will tell us what is your projected number of foreign workers that is going to come, and we see whether your company is adequately capitalized or not. If it is not adequately capitalized, we require a letter of undertaking from the shareholder that they are going to invest, they're going to inject funds in the company to meet all the necessary working capital. On top of that, all companies which are licensed to recruit foreign workers to work in Mauritius are required to deposit a guarantee of 1 million rupees either in cash or as a bank guarantee or in terms of an insurance policy. So 1 million rupee, that will ensure that they have the financial means to run the operation.
Yes. Your fifth question and time
Madam
is
Speaker,
going.
then therefore I'll table two documents. One is with regard to the application and the documents that are required to be submitted. And the other one is company details. Honorable Minister, are you aware that there's a sole director in that company and that gentleman is only 21 years old? Does he have any experience with regard to recruitment of foreign workers?
Let me see the documents.
Yeah,
One moment, Minister. I want to see the documents before they are really tabled. Yes, answer. Time is going.
Yes,
Please answer.
Madam Speaker, let us be very clear. As a minister, I don't know and I don't get involved in any issue of recruitment licenses. My only role starts when my ministry has rejected a license and the applicant makes an appeal to the minister. That is the only moment that I receive the file and I go through the file. And I have to say that most of the companies who has applied who had made an appeal has had their appeal turned down for the time being. Now, in regards to this company, this gentleman of 21 years, and I don't know, I really don't know who are the shareholders or directors. I don't know. That's a fact. I don't know who is the director or shareholder of that company. But let me tell him to read the regulations. And maybe I should do so that he's under no misunderstanding of the regulation 4.
Not too long, Minister. Yes, I'll give you another few minutes. I told you. But
Yes.
I'm the one who's telling.
Yes, let me read.
Un jour, il faudra venir s'asseoir ici à ma place. Hein?
Let me read, okay? Section Regulation 4481. The applicant has demonstrated that the director or senior officers of the applicant have technical knowledge and experience in the field of recruitment of workers. So if the shareholder may be a young person, but if he has a senior official who is going to do the work, what do? I discriminate against our youngster. I tell them, don't invest, don't start a business, do like them, rest à casa.
Minister, please. Last question.
The
Yeah,
last
I'm
question.
giving
I've
you
got a
more
series
time.
of questions, Madam
In any
Speaker.
case, time has already run. I'm giving you more time.
I need more questions, Madam Speaker.
No,
because
one more question.
I'm coming to another issue which was raised. With regard to recruitment agencies, can the Honourable Minister confirm to the House whether Lexus Recruitment Agency does not hold a license to operate as a recruitment agency?
Does not.
Madam Speaker, I have just tabled the list of all companies who have been issued a recruitment license. Okay, I am aware that there is a series of applicants. This morning, my PS has informed me that has already been approved by the committee, but whose recruitment license has not yet been issued because either they have not paid this guarantee, the 1 million rupee, or it is still being processed. But as of today, the company mentioned by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is not on the list of companies having received a recruitment license.
Okay, exceptionally, one last question. I can't get, otherwise we can go on
Madam
and on.
Speaker, the shareholders of that agency are the spouses of two of his closest collaborators. And the Honourable Minister mentioned that this company acts as middlemen between recruitment agencies and agents. The Honourable Minister is a lawyer. Is he seriously suggesting to the population of this country that this loophole does not amount to a blatant conflict of interest?
Okay.
Madam Speaker, there is absolutely no conflict of interest because anyone, including my own child, If tomorrow she fulfills all the criteria and needs to get a license, which is independently evaluated, I will deny it. When they were in government, their children were appointed as doctors. But their children, nepotism at its peak. Then it was okay.
Minister.
Today, when you are getting other people trying to earn a decent living legally, the honorable leader of opposition is taking objection just because the person happens to be a member. But let me tell you, among those who applied, there are agents of the MSN. There are agents of close to the former deputy prime minister. There are agents very close to Anna Béranger. They've also applied. So what do? I reject the application just because they're related to this company. Come on.
Nobody. No, I am not allowing you a last question. We started at 11:35. I gave you, but I have. One moment. I have given you extra time. You have to bow to.
I told you one last question.
No, twice you asked me for a last question. Twice. We can come back on the issue. You can come with specific questions. And also, if there's anything illegal, Ça suffit. Chief Whip, please. Ça suffit de tous les côtés. Ça recommence comme hier, là. Hein? I am trying to be as fair as I can. If there's anything...
I gave you my last question.
I counted, and now I'm told the minister he replied for 16 minutes. But I still gave you more time. If I keep giving you more questions, because it's obviously very important, then we can stay for a whole hour. You wanted to, Ms. Béranger?
You hear what the minister just said concerning Honorable Béranger?
I told her
And you allow him to say that and sit down?
No, I am giving the floor now to Ms.
Oh, you
Béranger.
don't hear when you...
No, she asked. I told
I
her
would
to
like the
wait.
minister to substantiate, and he's calling me Miss Jean Béranger, and I suppose I'm an honorable, but he needs to substantiate what he just
Yes,
said.
Minister, you must.
I will. I am substantiating. I didn't
you
want to
have
disclose.
One moment.
I will.
One moment. Don't get. We are getting very far from what we started.
Always getting personal.
Let me talk, please. Please let me talk. Honorable Minister, it's not proper to call an honorable member Miss. This is the second time. So please stop doing that, first of all. Secondly, what was it you said? He must substantiate, yes.
Substantiate, or he withdraw what he said about
somebody who-
my proximity with a supposed agent. He's imputing motives, and he, again, a lot of...
Minister, okay.
Since I didn't want to disclose names, because it's not proper to disclose name of this assembly. Agency extremely close to the former deputy prime minister, Brabant, applied for recruitment license. Nothing personal.
I don't even know.
Brabant, you don't know who is Brabant?
I don't know whether he's applying.
Okay, but you know he's close to you.
What has that got to do with Honorable?
I'm going to come to it. To
Honorable
the honorable first member of Vacqua Phoenix constituency number 16.
Vacqua
Floreal. Constituency number 16. Her own. Let me answer.
And people are speaking from a sitting.
Let me answer. Can I answer?
I don't allow him. And you are sitting, you're speaking to me from a sitting position. I'm trying to be as fair as I can. I think we will stop this game. You will table. That's enough. That's enough. We have gone. That's enough. Let us. No need, because I've stopped the leader of the opposition.
Madam Speaker, I protest strongly that you let me deliver my last supplementary.
I am not going to give you another supplementary question. You know full well that I have always given more time than needed, globally speaking. J'ai déjà noté là tout le temps que je vous ai donné. Ne venez pas me dire que je suis injuste. Vous pouvez le penser, hein? Chacun a le droit de penser ce qu'il veut. Après, quand vous passez votre temps à dire que this has been the practice before, vous voulez que je fasse comme mes prédécesseurs? C'est ça que vous voulez? Ah ben alors, arrêtez de me traiter comme si je ne sais pas ce que je fais. Vous hurlez dans tous les sens. Je dois prendre le temps qu'il faut pour pouvoir agir et réagir. Bien sûr, je ne suis pas parfaite. Mais là, je vais arrêter. This PNQ is over. Hier, c'était pareil. Je ne sais pas qu'est-ce qui se passe. C'était pas vous, mais vous avez accusé. Je ne vais pas revenir là-dessus. OK. Now time is up for PNQ. People can think what they want. OK? No, Minister, I am not going. Minister, I am not going to let you. Please bow down to my decision. Bow down to my decision.
He makes allegations to allow him, and then he says,
Ah, ça suffit. Ça suffit. I am raising. Je m'en vais. Je m'en vais.
Jenny, deux de pas trouver. La population est trouvée, Reza. La population préoccupe-toi.